moving into a game that should not have happened like it did. Pittsburgh at Houston.
Yeah, man. Bro, this has to be the weirdest game of the week in terms of results, right? I mean,
I picked them this week. I picked Houston this week.
So you went crazy on that
I'm going to
one.
do a little lap on that one.
You have to. So, all right, so the question we have for this week is just straight and forward to the point. Fun question. Is CJ Stroud a better QB than Kenny Pickett?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I was buying a little bit into the Pickett hype this offseason just because you upgrade the O-line. You hope that Najee is going to be better in the run game. You have George Pickens who's emerging. They have good players at receiver, at tight end, Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson. Calvin Austin's been playing well. And it's just not working. And this is kind of interesting, in my opinion, for like Steelers fans or just kind of any franchise that has had like a franchise quarterback for the last 20 years, like Ben Roethlisberger. Like, you really start to see how your team performs when you don't have one of those guys. And I don't necessarily think that like Pickett is really that guy. I mean, with the way they're playing, I'm taking CJ Stroud easily.
I was going to say easily. And also just the throws that he's making. I mean, like CJ's going outside the numbers consistently, singing it. With Kenny, it's like a lot of the throws are kind of like, like that just wasn't it yet. And yeah, I think the main thing I want to go back to is, not even victory lap, but I've been saying this for a while. Sometimes, and let me be clear, I'm big on the whole, you should watch the preseason, enjoy the preseason. The preseason is good for finding like future, guys that have potential for the future. You know my whole thing.
Yeah.
But people always get way too excited about preseason performances in an implication for like that season. And it's like, just because a dude dominated the preseason has no implication that they're going to be a star that season, especially at quarterback. We've seen times where QBs will go on these runs all the time in the preseason. And it doesn't mean anything for playing against the starters in the regular season. So that was the main thing with Kenny P. All this hype was coming from the fact that he was like essentially perfect in the preseason. And it's like, yeah, it was the preseason. Not the preseason football is not something that is important. It is. But you cannot gauge it the same way in terms of expectations for how someone's going to come out and start. And yeah, the narrative got twisted crazy into like Kenny P revenge season. Kenny P's coming to show he's the top 5. No. That's how I get so mad thinking about how everybody called me. Steelers fans were really, really recklessly on my case when I said they were going to have
Steelers fans are crazy.
Recklessly, man.
They don't know.
So it's like, let me be clear. Yeah, not no victory lap, but man, it's kind of like slow your roll was very clearly what I was getting at, and Steelers fans were ready to accept it. And that was the Steelers are a weird team right now, if anything, more than anything. Is what I wanted to touch on. It's like,
let me ask you a question though. Should we be more concerned about the Steelers or more hype about the Texans?
Oh, hype about the Texans. I'll say if you're a Texans fan, you should be geeking.
Let me be clear. This is like, okay, here's my thing.
They're like, hold on, we have a boo-boo O-line. We look this good. Like, that's the best situation to be in.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, that's kind of, and I'm not going to harp on this, and this is what we talked about earlier, but this is why I can't buy the Justin shit right now. When it works, it just works. Like, you shouldn't have to like pick at it and do all this shit. Like,
or you'll be able to pick enough good more than bad.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Which is what you can do with CJ easily in 4 games.
Yeah.
It's like the sample size doesn't have to be humongous either.
I mean, the first week was obviously tough. You played a Baltimore defense, but like Indiana, Jags, Pittsburgh, all good defenses. So it's just like, no,
CJ's a pocket gunslinger. There's no question.
I'm taking CJ Stroud any day over Kenny Pickett.
No, any day. And I think, so, like I already basically kind of went and touched on all the things I wanted to touch on with the Texans earlier when we first opened with the show. I'll just move on to the Steelers and kind of like touch on them real quick. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, they are very much in that, like I said, that same direction is a plenty of teams right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have a lot of what you need, but the QB is just not in a consistent spot. And yeah, he'll win you a few games because you'll get by on him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to win you games. And it's like, so you're handicapped by him in a sense.
Yeah.
Basically, the Steelers are right now handicapped by Kenny Pickett. I mean,
and it's like, you can see if you can get a new offensive coordinator, like get Matt Canada
I
out
was
of
gonna
there.
say, how have I forgotten to address that situation as well? I mean, Matt Canada is like him. I'll say this because Matt Canada's getting all the national hate because the Steelers are a much bigger franchise in terms of popularity than the Saints. But if the Saints were as popular as the Steelers, oh, trust me, the national narrative right now would be that these two are brothers in war. I mean, these are war criminals. These two offensive coordinators they are one and the same. I mean, Pete Carmichael's not got enough. I don't think enough slander. Him and Matt Canada might as well be the same fucking coordinator.
Should we just like Photoshop like Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada on like the cover of the War Dogs?
We should Photoshop them like doing like a handshake with each other.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what we should be doing. That would be like that's exactly how they are.
Let's run the worst offense ever.
I think it's like they're like secretly in on something together.
One thing before we move into the next game, I just want to victory lap us on this one. We said the Texans receiving core was going to be awesome. And it's awesome.
Bro, time out. Because, dude, what the narrative coming into the year was also always everyone's like, oh, everyone always says Nico Collins is about to break out. No, we were right. It was literally, we were at perfect timing. I didn't say it too early.
He was drafted in 21. Like, give the guy some time.
Bro, when you're 6'4" and you run routes the way he does, it's pretty hard not to find success, especially when you get a QB like CJ that comes out. I mean, it was the perfect line for success to be this year.
Honestly, would have expected a little bit more from John Mechie, but I mean, you never know what he's working back with health and stuff.
I was gonna say, I think he'll be someone who will start being more productive. And he, not that he won't be this year, but he will keep getting more productive as he gets older and later into his, like, as he can get more years under his belt. Because again, he missed a lot of time with everything he had to go through. So it's like,
but that'll be scary when they're all full force.
No, it will.